is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. How you feeling, my brother?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Just watching the Panthers piss away a beautiful season. Before we get into the Dolphins, yeah, it's disappointing. I was challenging Bam Adebayo, and I said, "You got to stop acting like Barkov and Huberdeau." And he finally acted like Jimmy Butler on Saturday night. Listen, I know power plays a terrible thing. Stupid penalties have been a problem for them also. But Barkov and Huberdeau, bro, I mean, your stars aren't studs in key moments. That to me is about the most depressing thing out of all of that, because just like Bam, the talent is there, bro. It's when do you want to impose your will? And that's what bothers me with those two guys.
Yeah, and to me, it's more than just this Tampa series, though, to be honest with you. It's more looking back. It's the last year in the Tampa series. It's the year before in the Stanley Cup qualifier against the Islanders.
Where are they without Verhaeghe in the first round, dude? Where are they?
Right. No, and they were fortunate to get past Washington, which is not a great team. And
Verhaeghe was the stud. What we want from Barkov and Huberdeau, it was Verhaeghe, bro.
He was. But having said that, the Panthers are not there when it comes to a playoff-built team, a team built for a deep run to the playoffs. And you can see it. Tampa Bay is a two-time defending Stanley Cup champions, and you see it. They're better pretty much at everything, at every step than the Panthers. And having said that, if it's not for a catastrophic brain-dead move at the end of Game 2, if the Panthers don't make that and wind up being the ones that score the goal in overtime, we're looking at a 2-1 series instead of a 3-0 series. That's basically over. But having said that, Tampa Bay has a lot bigger margin for error because they're better built for the Stanley Cup playoffs than the Panthers are, and the Panthers are built to have a fantastic regular season, which is what they did.
And really, Bob is not the problem. He has not been the problem. No. That's the thing. As much as I know that Bob has never lived up to the contract and all that good stuff, but, because some guy yesterday was telling me about Bob, and I'm like, dude, Bob's not the issue here. Stupid penalties are an issue. You can't score in the power play. That's an issue. Your top stars are not studs in key moments. Those are issues. And I got to tell you, maybe Brunette's also a little bit of an issue because the poor guy doesn't have the resume to go rattle people's cages, whereas Coach Q could probably walk up to a dude and get in his face, and that guy can't do anything except shit bricks and do whatever the old man says him to do. And Brunette may not have the juice also. That may also be a problem here in this series.
Yeah, except that you can't ask a finesse team to be a gritty, in your face, do whatever it takes to win the playoffs. And I'll give you, if you look, because we mentioned Bob, if you look at the game-winning goal yesterday, that's not a great goal on the goalie, number one. And number two, the shot got past Mackenzie Weegar because Mackenzie Weegar didn't get his ass in front to completely block it. And contrast that to the number of shots that Tampa Bay is blocking. I think my colleague at NHL.com, Tom Galudi, who's covering the series everywhere.
The analysts killed the Panthers for that.
85 block shots.
Yeah.
Big old 85 block shots in 3 games. I mean, I'm not a math major, but that's 28.3 per game for Tampa Bay. That's crazy. Yeah. So Vasilevsky's getting a lot of accolades because his stats are outrageous. Yeah, his team is blocking shots all over the place. And then
that's part of the game. That's part of the game. That's part of
the Panthers doing that very much.
It wasn't that Beezer also was stopping everything. It was that those mother effers in front of Beezer always sold out too to block anything and everything. Scrudlin would take a puck in the face if he had to take a puck in the face in order to block a damn shot. And hey, Barkov had a shot yesterday at blocking one, and he kind of sidestepped it a little bit there. So, he wasn't aggressively trying to block it. You know what I'm saying? So And let me tell you, the announcers, if you heard them in between periods, they killed the Panthers for that. They killed them, and they praised Tampa for doing all of that. So yeah, you're right. They're acting like a championship caliber team, and the Panthers are acting like they don't have the experience on how to be a championship caliber team. That's kind of what it looks like.
Well, except how long is that going to be there? I mean, Barkov's been with the Panthers for what, 7 years? Huberdeau is like 7 or 8 years. Same with Blvd. I mean, that's why to me it's so depressing, and it's like they gave Tampa a better series last year when I don't know that the talent had quite the Panthers had quite the same talent level they have this year, and it's been worse. So
all right, and I'll tell you this: couple years ago, I got on the bandwagon before anybody else, and I said, "Bro, Dale Talon's got to go. It's been 10 years; he hasn't done anything." Well, I'm going to tell you again something that needs to happen. You're probably going to have to trade Barkov or Huberdeau. I don't know if this exists because I don't know hockey the way you do. But Riley has been a master at finding Timmy and Zoe and Shaq and Butler and Mason and Shaq. No, I said Shaq already. There's somebody else I'm missing. But anyway, he's been able to find the disgruntled star and trade for him and bring him here. Again, I'm not smart enough. But if it exists out there, if that son of a bitch exists somewhere, you may have to trade Barkov or Huberdeau part of that trade and go acquire what I'm watching in Kucherov and in Stamkos. Two mother effers that will do anything and everything to win a game. They need that star that is that guy, and Barkov and Huberdeau are not that guy. Agree with me that they're going to have to part ways with one of them probably in order to acquire that. Yay or nay?
I think you may be onto something. I think they're definitely going to have like a major introspective look is this, can we win a championship or even make a deep playoff run? And one round is not a deep playoff run with the nucleus that we have. And I'm less bothered by Barkov's performance in this series than I am with Huberdeau's because he's done some good stuff defensively. The problem is he's never asserted himself offensively.
Right, he doesn't have, right. I don't know if he ever will. He's
that's
just
a good question.
He's got, and I can't come up with the modern day term, but he's an effing goober, bro. And I'm tired of the goober ways of his, Mr. Nice Guy and this, that. Bro, come on, dude. Cut somebody's heart off. See, I love Dwayne Wade because Dwayne Wade had that boyish smile and all that shit. But when the fourth quarter came around, bro, he wanted to cut your heart out, man. I need a son of a bitch, and he's not a son of a bitch.
No, and that's a question that needs to be answered. I think he has the physical ability to do it, whereas Huberdeau's game is built, and I love the guy, and he's a fabulous passer, but his game is built purely on finesse, and he just does not have the room and time to operate to do his thing in the playoffs. And if he can't do that, he becomes just a very average player. So that's the question. One of the questions the Panthers are going to have to ask themselves. And they're also still too light on defense, where they're losing puck battles along the boards. They don't clear out the front of the net. And if
they didn't push around still.
First goal from Tampa Bay again yesterday, Corey Perry front of the net. Actually, they had two guys who tipped that shot from the point on the first goal.
That's right. Yeah.
Very, very, very disappointing. I wasn't. I always knew Tampa Bay is a better team. I didn't expect to still for it to be this glaring in terms of the difference.
Yeah, it is. It's really twisted what's going on there. All right. On the Dolphins side, kind of quiet right now. What's been going on over the last couple of days? Did you watch the Brenneman interview with Gesicki?
I did not.
Okay.
I heard some snippets, and he's a current player who's going to love his quarterback. He's going to love everybody on the team. And then when Ryan Fitzpatrick was his quarterback, I love Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now he's playing with Tua. I love Tua. And then when Jacoby.
By the way, I said that's exactly what you would say before you came on.
Here's my question. Am I
what he's supposed to say? I know.
Correct. I mean, that's why those current player interviews, unless you're dealing with like very, 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 very minor exceptions where guys don't give a shit about what they say,
But there's no part of you that believes any of that at all? That you don't believe that these guys will enjoy playing with him? That you don't I don't know. It just, even from the outside, it just looks like there's a different vibe in that damn building with everybody now. It just doesn't seem like there's any uncomfortableness right now. That's all.
No, there's no question. Yeah, there's no question it's looser because you got a coach who's like friendly and he's outgoing and all that, and he's going to joke around and with the guys.
And he communicates actually.
Correct, and do that. So from that standpoint, absolutely, without question. But again, going back to the notion of everybody loves playing with everybody, you will never, ever, ever hear somebody say, yeah, he's okay. We're going to make the best of it. That's just not going to happen. But yeah, no, there's no question. Yeah, there's a different vibe because everything is more loosey-goosey. Part of it also, again, we're in May, but without question, you have a coach who's a lot mellower and a lot friendlier, more outgoing than the previous one. I don't need to be a rocket scientist to see that.
Are you hearing anything on the addition side? Because they obviously still have some money available.
Yeah, they do. They've also got 3 weeks of OTAs left. So again, I would imagine would be in a bit of a holding pattern until the end of the OTAs, the offseason program, I should say, because technically it's not totally all OTAs. So, and then they'll revisit the idea of whether they need to do something at center or stay with what they have. The Akeem Hicks thing, yeah, maybe. I wouldn't expect it to get done.
It seems like they are going to add a couple more veterans. It's just like they're waiting for that price to drop or something. You know what I mean? It just because that there's still guys available out there, so you're going to be able to add some rotational veterans on your team that will really end up helping you out because they're experienced players that still have some gas in the tank. Actually,
yeah, no question.
And by the way, those people that you're bringing on, you're not asking them to be frontline players.
If you're signing somebody now, but you're asking him to be major contributors. If you bring in like a JC Treader, you're bringing him to start.
Oh, that's different. That one's different.
Or if you bring in,
but Akeem Hicks is not going to be asked to be a starting defensive end. He's just going to be a rotational guy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh well, first of all, he'd be DT, and
I mean rotational D line, not DM, a D line.
I think he's good. He's good enough where he's going to sign as a starter somewhere. Because the Dolphins, there are teams around the league who need help stopping the run. And at some point, he's going to sign with somebody. And I don't think, he's not an every down type of player anyway. So if you want the term starter these days, especially along the defensive line, can be it might mean more for a lot from some players than others. But he's going to have a significant rotational role wherever he goes.
For sure. But with Raekwon and Wilkins, you probably will not be starting on this team, but you'll be part of the rotation. So that means you won't be able to demand as much of a salary early on. Your role might change as the year goes on, but coming in, you're not going to be really, oh no, we need a starting D lineman. So yeah, Akeem, come on in. That's not really the way the Dolphins are going to approach that.
No, but it might be the way Akeem Hicks approaches it, and he might sit tight and wait till a couple of weeks into training camp and see if somebody goes down somewhere, if a need develops among a contender. He's not in a hurry to do anything himself because I find it hard to believe that his NFL career is over. Somebody's going to sign him at some point, and he may just decide, let me sit tight. For a best situation possible that could open up.
Yeah, because they're clearly waiting. Somebody's waiting for some kind of a price point, whether it's him or them, but clearly they're waiting for a price point on there. All right, what are you working on, Sports Illustrated, so folks can check you out on the All Dolphins fan page?
Yeah, I had my list next to me. There's a whole bunch of different things I'm looking on. I don't want to necessarily specify because I don't know what's going to be done in what order specifically. But just keep checking alldolphins.com. There will be plenty of new material every day.
There you go. All right. And, of course, follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. And, by the way, somebody added some insult to injury. what is it there? He says, oh, and they're also playing without Point, Tampa Bay, which is like, we thought the Braden Point thing was like, yeah, bro, they lost their first line center and didn't make a damn bit of difference, bro.
Yeah, except I'm going to counter that by saying that the Panthers are playing without Mason Marchment, who was very, very, very effective against Washington and who is one of the few gritty players on the team that's lacking grittiness, as we mentioned before. So he would have been very important for the Panthers. So not to say he's as good a player as Braden Point, but he might be as important to the Panthers in terms of what he brings to the playoffs.
I don't know if he saves their asses from the position they're in, but yeah.
No, maybe not, but he certainly makes them a better playoff team than they are without him.
You think they survive tonight?
Who knows? They look like a defeated team.
Yeah, that's my problem. That's my problem.
They look
defeated because that when they were talking about being tired and they're tired and all, I'm like, and then your coach is like, well, they're showing more will in us on every shift and all that. And I'm like, oh man, this is just
He's not wrong because it does show like Tampa Bay is more willing to sell out than the Panthers are, which is completely discouraging and disappointing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, no doubt. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. As always, Alain, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you and that Montreal Expos hat.
Sounds good. And we'll speak Thursday. We can talk Dolphin OTAs, and hopefully we'll also be able to talk about a Game 5 of that Panther Lightning series, which would take place Wednesday night, if necessary.
You got it. All right, my brother. You be good.
You too.
Thank you, my man. There you go. Alain Poupart and our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report.
This is the Big O Show.